Right, good evening. It's Thursday night and you join me for my first visit down to the club lakes for this season. They started quite late, early July, because of an algal bloom. And this is really my first chance. It's mid-July, late July even. It's been open 2 weeks, a few fish have been out, and I thought I'd come down here and try some bream fishing. The story goes, started at about 4, come into a swim which I know well. I've got both my rods out at 40 yards, I've put a bit of bait in, and so far I've had a rudd and an eel. I've got some fish starting to show around out there now, and yeah, looks alright. Fingers crossed I'll get a few. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, just had this 5.5 pounder. Okay, it's just coming up on 6 o'clock on Friday afternoon. I left you this morning whilst I was catching eels on the float. My day has been very quiet. I've had one bite on a method feeder, and I've had a couple more bits and bobs from underneath the tree to the right there. The plan's changed. I've now switched to method feeders. I've given it a bit more bait on the area that I was fishing last night. I've now gone both rods to method feeders with wafter hook baits to try and alleviate the eel problem, and we'll see how we go with this. Okay, it's just gone 11 and this one's just coming at just over £5. Bream number 2, happy days. Right, good morning. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the morning. So last night I was managed to get 2 bream, both quite early in the night. I say early, I think they were both before 1 AM. So I didn't bother re-spodding yesterday, or last night, sorry, or putting any extra bait over the top. It's just what was going through the feeder, and I don't think I held the shoal. That's it really. Quiet for the rest of the morning, a couple of little liners and bits and bobs, and ducks annoy me. And I've had a couple of indications this morning since it's been light. But yeah, it's been good, it's been a nice little chill out. I'm packing up now and I'm off to Cromwell Lake later on this week, up in Nottingham for, I'm not sure if it's a match or a social yet. I'll find out when I get there, and so will you. So unless anything good happens, I'll see you on Wednesday. Right, good evening. It's coming up to 7 o'clock on Thursday night and we're about 30 odd hours into this year's Royal Signals Carp Angling Championships. Scores on the doors are that Andy, behind the big tree next to the house, has had a 40 pounder within the first 10 minutes. He's winning the match. I've then got the guy up to my left, Steve, I want to say Steve. He's had a 32 pounder. And then across the way, Jace has had a 20 pounder. And that's the only 3 fish that have been landed. Andy's lost another one, Kempy's lost one, he's sat directly opposite in that corner, and apparently Chris has lost one from up the other corner. I've had a couple of liners today, nothing spectacular, and that's it really. Yesterday the wind was going right to left up the other end of the lake, today it's coming down this end. It's looking good, if I'm honest. I reckon when it gets dark I might stand a chance of a bite or 2, and tomorrow morning I'll stand a chance of a bite. But yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. I've got one out at 16 wraps in line with the 3 poplars. The right hand rod is currently pinged down to the right on a PVA bag, and I don't quite know if I'm going to be fishing 2 on the spot or if I'm not, basically. It's not a very clear spot, there's loads of little low lying blanket weed. So I'm on helicopters and Ronnie rigs and all sorts. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, that's it, update done. Right, good evening. It's now Friday night. So, the Royal Signals Carp Angling Championships finished this morning, and the scores on the doors didn't change. Andy won it with a £40 4-ounce mirror. It was Paul came second with £32, and then Jace came third with £22 something, which was his new PB, and Andy had a new PB. Cromwell, brilliant venue. Not a pushover though, at all. We finished that at 9. I was away by 10, half 10. And on my long drive home, I decided I'd come down onto the club lake. Took 4 hours to get down here, but I got here in the end. Managed to get here for about 3ish. Quite hot when I got here, sun was out. I've settled in a swim down the wide end of the lake. Reason being, last week when I was up here, I saw a few fish in this area, and as I was walking up and down, I've seen a couple of fish. There's a guy up the shallows, and I didn't fancy encroaching on him. Yeah, I don't see much point in both of us sitting in the same place. So I found an area in this swim which was deep enough to avoid the swans. I've put a bit of bait in, and I've got 2 rods on the area. Bit of gravel. It's actually really nice. And that's it really, update done. Right, good morning. It's 10 to 8 in the morning. The story for the night goes that not a great deal happens. That moorhen who's cutting across the screen now, it's been a bit of a pain in the backside. I think it's him and his mates have been giving me liners all night. That's about it. There's a bit of fizzing on the spot this morning. It's all over and done with now though, and I'm about to pack up and go home. Right, good evening. It is Tuesday night and you join me down in on the Basingstoke Canal in Aldershot. Now I'm here on a course for 2 weeks, and I thought, you know what, I'll pack my kit just in case I get a chance. And I've got a chance. I've joined the local club, Basingstoke Canal Angling Association, I believe it is. Cost me 11 quid for a month's worth of fishing, dawn till dusk. So even if I get 2 trips down here, it's worth it. I've been walking for about an hour up and down the canal, found this lovely line of snags. I've got 2 rods in at the moment, one off down to my left, one off to a bush just off to my right there. And I've got about another hour or so until I'm going to have to be off. Right, good evening. It is now Wednesday night. It's 25 past 8. You join me back in exactly the same swim that I was in last night. However, this time I got down here quite a bit later. I've been up and down the canal. I was about 2 miles up to my right earlier. Did a fair old walk up between 2 bridges up there on what I thought would be a good stretch, looking at overhead photography and having been told what I've been told. And I've got to be honest, it didn't float my boat, so I've ended up coming back down here, getting set up, and I've seen a little fish roll underneath the tree again. I'm on tiger nuts, fake tiger nut on the right hand rod, and I've got a manila wafter over a couple of handfuls of bait on the left hand rod. Easy peasy. Okay, it's just gone 9 o'clock and I've had this. Happy days. Okay, Thursday night, I've just had that. Speak to you more in a minute. Right, good evening. It's Thursday night. I'm back down on the canal for the last night this week. I've got another stretch. It's a very renowned stretch along here. I think it's called the Nature Reserve. I've seen a carp already. I've had a bream already. And it's looking very, very good if I'm honest. I saw the carp over there by that sign. So that's definitely on my list for next week. There is a spot over there that I could be able to fish close to where that duck is, but it looks like they know where the spot is. I'm in an iron about that one. Oh, nope, another liner. I'm getting plenty of liners on that left-hand rod, probably because I'm fishing it naked. And yeah, it's looking very, very good. Right, I'm going to get back by the rod, so I shall speak to you in a bit, hopefully. It's Monday night. And I've got those 2 in. Right, good evening. It's currently 8 o'clock on Monday night and I'm back down on the Basingstoke Canal. I'm still on my course, week 2 of learning more about computers. Oh, sugar, 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 sugar. That's a bit of excitement. That was a liner. Right, so the sketch goes like this. I got down here, I've parked the car up, realised I had a puncture, went for a little bit of a walk in the opposite direction to this spot, couldn't find anything, so I came back down here. When I'm getting into this swim, I've seen 4 different carp. 3 along the far bank over there, which is where the right hand rod is, and I've seen a bigger one down the track of the canal, which is where the left hand rod is. And that's it really. Use a baiting pole to get the right hand rod in, so it's up nice and tight to that tree, and the left hand rod is up against the weed on the central track. Slackish lines, let's see what happens. Right, good evening. It's about 8 o'clock on Tuesday, and tonight's been a bit eventful. For a start, after I left last night, I decided to try and clear a bit of the weed out on the left, where the left hand rod's fishing, across to the far bank, because I had a big liner that saw me strike a bit prematurely. However, I didn't clear as much of the weed as I first thought, and I've ended up spending half an hour doing it today as well. I then put my right hand rod down to the left where it had been fishing yesterday, where I saw the fish. Guy came up, had a chat with me, pointed out I was fishing in the wrong spot, so I've moved my left hand rod to my right hand rod, put it up against the tree to the right again, and within an hour I've lost a fish. So definitely a spot there. I forgot how hard they pulled on here. So yeah, it's been eventful. Still haven't got the outcome I'm after, but we'll keep on trying. Right, good evening. It's now Wednesday night. I'm back down on another stretch, different swim. I'm back where I was on Thursday night, but roughly where the other carp angler had been sitting. And the good news is I've seen 3 fish, since I've been setting up. Not in front of me, but this is about the only place that I can safely get my rods in and locked up. And after last night, I need to be fishing locked up. Left hand rod's underneath the tree, right hand rod's down the canal a little bit up against the weed. Both got half a dozen boilies and about the same of tigers and chopped tigers, and we'll see how it goes. I've had my tea, now it's just the big wait. Give it a couple of hours. See, it's 7 o'clock now, and I'll see how I feel in an hour's time, if I stay here or if I move up to another swim, up or down a little bit. Okay, so it's about 9 o'clock at night and I've just had this little beauty. Well happy. Honest, satisfied. Don't even know if I need to come back down. Right, good evening. It's 9:15 on Thursday night, and I'm on what I believe is known as Ilmore Flash. I've come up here because everybody I've spoken to has told me it is good for a bite, and I can see why. There's loads of carp up here. Getting them out is going to be a different matter because it's really, really weedy. My left hand rod is about 2 swims down to my left in a nice little hole in the weed that I found with about 10 baits around it. My right hand rod is straight out to my front in slightly less dense weed. And that's it really. It's my last night on here, like I say. If I get one, I'll show you. If I don't, I won't.